So, how do you come back from something like that? I mean, Shredder is dead, Splinter's dead, and the Turtles are left having supposedly done what they were completely brought up to do. How do you craft a new story after that? Back in the 90s, they tried just that with the third Ninja Turtles movie, and yeah. Then there was the theatrical animated movie that was also post-Shredder, and that didn't do much better. Even the first animated series, while they didn't kill off Shredder, they still replaced him with Dreg for the last 2 seasons, and that didn't exactly spark ratings. I can't say for certain if the creators knew this was the last season or not, but as to what they did now that the Turtles have disposed of their arch enemy and brought vengeance, sorry, justice for their dead master, well, let's dive in. The 5th season begins with Raph and Casey being attacked by Jawas. Satanic Jawas that are under the command of Tiger Claw, who is using them to summon a dragon demon who comes off way more intimidating than the Dragon Lord could ever hope to be. Oh, and he's voiced by Mark freaking Hamill. So just what is Tiger Claw planning to do with this monster?
You will bring the Shredder back from the dead!
Of course! And I thought the NBA Finals was easy to predict. Yep, Tiger Claw is into necromancy now, as he first demonstrates by getting the demon Cavaxus to revive Razor, who is now undead. You're gonna start the zombie apocalypse, aren't you? The remainder of the first 4 episodes are about Tiger Claw getting his new minions to retrieve all of the items needed for the resurrection, while in the meantime, Karai has competition for the new leader of the Foot, her old master, Tatsu! Only in this series, he's pretty much Daredevil. Sadly, he only lasts 1 episode before Cavaxus kills him, which is kind of a plot point. Eventually, Cavaxus creates Zombie Super Shredder, which leads the Turtles to try and stop him by becoming the Ghostbusters. Oh, but guess what? Cavaxus has been playing Tiger Claw all this time!
I had to achieve 3 deeds to end this world. First, destroy a great warrior, Tatsu. Next, resurrect an evil warrior, Shredder. And finally, destroy the seal that binds me. And now, I can unleash the spirits of the netherworld onto the earth and control both worlds!
I was kidding about the zombie apocalypse! Cavaxus is ultimately stopped by Mikey gluing the talisman back together with bubble gum. I guess I should be thankful this cartoon doesn't take place in the South, where they would have used duct tape.
Force Cavaxus to open up a portal back to the netherworld.
We do not belong here, demon.
Tiger Claw helped us. He left, declaring a truce.
The rest of the season, mostly a bunch of mini story arcs that have little to no connection to one another. The next is When Worlds Collide, where the Salamandrians come to Earth to track down a criminal bounty hunter, but in the process they mistakenly lure to Earth Dreg? Yeah, he's the one that didn't die being thrown out into outer space. And people say what Leia did in The Last Jedi was bunk. They eventually stop all the alien invaders, and of course Mona Lisa asks to stay on Earth with Raph, and is subsequently not seen in the series again. After a 3-parter that introduces Usagi Yojimbo and really seems like he's the main character instead of the Turtles, we practically get a story ripped from the Archie comics as we go back in time to when Splinter was raising the Turtles as little kids. And then we go to the future for a Mad Max ripoff. Okay. We then get a 4-parter involving legendary movie monsters invading New York before arriving at the final 3 episodes of the series, which, yes, is another crossover with the 80s Turtles. I'll start talking about the positives once again. First off, the 2D animation in these episodes just seem better than what they were in Transdimensional Turtles. And second, we actually get the Shredder from the 80s series! Kevin Michael Richardson voices this version as well, and does a pretty good job replicating James Avery. So apparently at some time within season 3 of the Fred Wolf series, since they're at the Earth's core, Krang sends the entire Technodrome to the world of the Nick Turtles, and leaves Bebop and Rocksteady behind.
Where did you take us, you alien ignoramus?
Earth 7, a world parallel to our own. A dimension ripe for conquering.
This drives them to eventually hire the Bebop and Rocksteady from this world, just as the 80s Turtles track down Shredder and Krang, who plan to steal tech from the Earth Protection Force that will help them bring the Technodrome back to full power. So yeah, better overall animation, a decent voice cast, and a plot line that I can see the villains from the 80s series looking to enact. Unfortunately, some of the other problems from the last crossover still exist. A lot of the interactions between both Turtles is about criticizing how the 80s Turtles act, and especially their fighting style. Mainly their criticism that the Turtles never use their weapons. Yes they did. Just because they never killed anyone with them doesn't mean they were never used. I hate to keep bringing this up, but again, Turtles Forever showed that the style of the 80s Turtles, while unorthodox to their grittier counterparts, could still be effective in certain situations, and did prove effective when combined with the other Turtles' style to work together. Here, much of the first 2 episodes is about the Nick Turtles getting the 80s Turtles to be more violent, and it's treated like it's a good thing. I just don't get what they were going for with these jokes. Yes, the first series did make some concessions at toning down the violence in later seasons to appease the moral guardians, not all of which I agreed with even at the time, but it was still among multiple cartoons in the mid to late 80s that got to be much more liberal in depicting action than cartoons from the 70s and early 80s, which gradually paved the way for cartoons like this new series. And need we forget, all of this was ultimately adapted from a comic book that was meant to lampoon ultra-violent comics that were all the rage in the 80s. In the final episode, which yes was titled The Big Blowout, they get enough power for the Technodrome to bring the Rock Warriors to Earth, but this is where Bebop and Rocksteady begin to have second thoughts.
Is not what we always wanted.
But what do we want to destroy the world for? We like the world.
What? Shredder and Krang never wanted to destroy the world, just conquer it. There is a difference. Going to this well again, in Turtles Forever, remember they turned on the Utrom Shredder because he wanted to destroy all of reality. And it was the Shredder from this series that was willing to let the Earth be destroyed as long as he got his revenge on Splinter. Now all of a sudden, they're the ones that want to destroy the universe? And yeah, this is all to set up a face turn by Bebop and Rocksteady, so they help send the portal in reverse to return the Rock Soldiers to Dimension X. Then they flat out blow up the Technodrome. Who's gonna be expected to clean that up? The 80s Turtles capture Shredder and Krang and take them back to their dimension and proceed to tell their Bebop and Rocksteady that they don't have to lead a life of crime. But wait, does this mean the 4th season and beyond of the 80s series never happened now?
You've created a time paradox.
All in all, yeah, Yeah, it looks like the 5th season was one that the network handed over when the creators didn't expect to get one, and they just had to come up with any stories they could think of to put one together. The result is the last season feeling a lot more episodic than the longer arc-driven seasons before that, and it's probably for the best that it ended here. I think they even knew this would be the last ride from the beginning, because the show within a show that the Turtles got hooked on in this season was an XP of Star Trek: The Next Generation, as if to do a whole full circle thing. It is kind of like Xena in that whole regard, though at least I will say the way this show ended was still better than how that one did. So yes, after finally getting through all 5 seasons, what is my final analysis on the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series? It has its strengths and its weaknesses, and while the weaknesses can grate on me, that shouldn't take away from what it does right. The creators took chances with this show, and I can respect that. I can also appreciate that they really did their homework on the entire franchise, taking characters and stories from all editions to help craft their own incarnation. Anytime you do a reboot, you do need to put your own stamp and a fresh take on things. And this one did have a lot of effort put in toward being its own identity, while remaining true to what the Ninja Turtles have always been about for the most part. So yeah, while I personally might not take it over the previous 2 series, it is one that works just fine for the next generation, and hopefully one that will get that generation interested in and curious about the rest of the franchise. But above all, I'm just glad that it's over and done with, and at long last, this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles retrospective series can finally come to a close. Damn it!